it's me, Tamala Clover. I'm going to do something a little bit strange today. Maybe a little bit strange. I've been talking to some of my friends in the real world about this ideal I had, and they have assured me it is not a crazy ideal, but is an okay ideal. But I don't know, because I don't know if there's anybody else doing this. But essentially, tonight I want to do story time, but for grown-ups. Yeah. But with actual stories. So, to try it off first, I'm going to do like an actual, like one of my favorite picture books, like a legit story time that I would do for like any young person. And one of the reasons I want to do this is because I miss doing story time. When I used to work at a bookstore, I was asked to do story times. And the first time I was asked, I was like, no, you want me to go do story time? I don't even think children like me. And I have dyslexia, and it makes it really hard for me to read out loud, and I'm super weird. This is gonna be terrible, right? And then I did it, and I loved it. The first time I did it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, it's just like, it was so great. And you might be wondering, well, why not try to do story time for kids? Well, I want to do story time for grown-ups because, well, I miss doing the stories. I really like picture books. That's something I realized when I was working at the bookstore, is like how much I missed picture books, but I just love books in general. And I had a really hard childhood in a lot of ways. But one of the nice things that my mom actually did when I was younger was she read to me. And she read all sorts of things. I was a pretty advanced reader, so she would read like really large books at a pretty young age. But that was always very nice for me. And I think because I've had such a difficult childhood and often had to be more of an adult than I should have had to been, I would, as I've gotten older, I've realized that there's a place in my life that needs like certain fun things, that needs certain nurturing things. And I have talked to my therapist about this and everything, and apparently it's totally a normal thing. And I also know that a lot of people are having a hard time right now with feeling a lack of connection, and there's a lot of people out there who don't have great families, and maybe this is too weird for the majority of people, or maybe it's not weird at all, and you really would like to hear a story. But I just want to make a space to do something that I really love, which is part of what Clovergeeks is all about, one of my YouTube channels. And then I also want to make a safe space for people to embrace sides of themselves that maybe they're being told that they aren't allowed to embrace. Like, I think there's a lot of people who are being told that they have to be grown up and mature and responsible, and if you goof off or you're silly or you need like support or connection, that means that you are somehow immature or like childish or not a real adult. And I don't think that's the case at all. And I'm here for anyone who wants to. I'm gonna also try to post this to my actual YouTube channel when I get finished, at least in the next day or two, and have it there for people who want to use it. But I want to do something like this. I'm going to try it. So today's story that I want to read for grown-ups, for the person who's viewing, I am legitimately going to read a story. You can't really read it because it's backwards on the camera, I believe, but it says, "What do you do with a chance?" And this is one of my favorite stories. It's not all that old. I found it when I was working at the bookstore. It's written by Kobe Yamada, and it's illustrated by, I'm not sure how to say the first name, but I think it's Ma Bisam. And the illustrations are absolutely gorgeous, and the story is wonderful. So if this is a little bit too weird, feel free to drop out, but for everybody else, let's get started. Now and ever, when something extraordinary shows up in your life, I hope you see it for what it is, a gift. Dad. And May Bisam says, thanks to my friends for always supporting me. That's very nice. It's a picture, and it says, what do you do with a chance? One day I got a chance. It just seemed to show up. It acted like it knew me, as if it wanted something. I didn't know why it was here. What do you do with a chance? I wondered. And here you can see the little boy in the story. And over here is a little chance that he found. It fluttered around me. It brushed up against me. It circled me as if it wanted me to grab it. I started to reach for it, but I was unsure and pulled back, and so it flew away. That sometimes happens when we come up against a chance. We don't always know what to do with it or what it even is. I thought about it a lot. I wish I had taken my chance. I realized I had wanted it, but I still didn't know if I had the courage. And here he is. Here they are pondering about the mischance that they had. I really don't feel like my camera's doing justice to the beauty of the artwork. When another chance came around, I wasn't so sure, but I decided to try. I went to reach for it, but I missed and fell. I was embarrassed. I felt foolish. It seemed like everyone was looking at me. I decided I never wanted to feel this way again. Oh. I don't know about you, but I've done that before. Like a lot of times. Tried for things, especially when I was young. And then it didn't work out, and it was really embarrassing. So after that, whenever a chance came along, I ignored it. And the more I ignored them, the less they came around. Until one day I noticed that I hadn't seen a chance in quite a while. It was as if they had all disappeared. I started to worry, what if I don't get another chance? I know I acted like I didn't care, but the truth was I did. I still wanted to take a chance, but I was afraid, and I wasn't sure if I would ever be brave enough. Then I thought, maybe I don't have to be brave all of the time. Maybe I just need to be brave for a little while at the right time. I realized it was up to me. I promised myself that if I ever got another chance, I wasn't going to hold back. If I got another chance, I was going to be ready. Then one seemingly ordinary day, I saw something shining far off in the distance. Is it possible? I hoped. Could this be my chance? I had to find out. I ran as hard and as fast as I could toward it. I don't know how to explain it, but the second I let go of my fears, I was full of excitement. It wasn't that I was no longer afraid, but now my excitement was bigger than my fear. As I got closer, I could see that this was a really huge chance. But this time I was ready. As it came by, I reached out and I grabbed it. I held on with all my might. It felt so good to soar, to fly, to be free. I now see that when I hold back, I miss out. And I don't want to miss out. There's just so much I want to see and do and discover. So, what do you do with a chance? You take it. Because it just might be the start of something incredible. And that, my little lovelies, young and old, that is the end of this story. But I really like this story, and you feel free to comment if you want to about what you liked about it. But for me, what I really like about it, besides just being beautiful writing and illustration, is the idea that sometimes, especially I think when we're younger, we try to go for things and we're really brave, even though we might not know what we're doing. I might get emotional, and that's just part of what I do, but and then we feel like we're embarrassed if it doesn't work out, like if we don't succeed the way that we wanted to. Maybe somebody said something to us, or we didn't meet the expectations that we had or that others had. And so we learn to do safe things. Maybe they're not the things that we really love or care about, but at least we're not going to be embarrassed about it, you know. And we start maybe little by little to like make ourselves smaller. But like, it can be so hard to come back from that. And just like in this story, I think sometimes it could feel that those opportunities as we get older seem to be less and less. That we're too old for this, we're too this for that, or like we can't do it because of this reason, or trying new things is like, it's for young people, we have to be responsible now. And sometimes we really do have to be responsible, but I guess for me, that's not what I want for my life. I cry a lot. I'm neurodivergent, and like I'm very emotional about this because it's something that's really relevant to my life right now too, in that I have an injury and I've been out of work since I've been out of work since before Easter, and that's been really hard. But I realized I wasn't happy at my job. I've been taking calculated risks for a very long time, and I'm a lot farther than I thought I could come from my circumstances, but I'm not happy. And the people in my life, when I talk to them, they realized I wasn't happy either. And I have a lot of reasons for that. Like, I was trying to run from the past, and the past always seemed to be in front of me. Super afraid of, like, looking a certain way. Like, the thought of being on camera in front of people, even, like, a few months ago, especially dressed up, like, all weird and, like, whatever, seemed terrifying, and, like, something that wasn't even a possibility. And I've known for years, actually, that I wanted to be a creative person and help people. I was working in mental health in the field, but, like, I wasn't able to do all the things I wanted to do with the clients because of rules. And, like, just, like, people, I don't know, it's just the way things are set up. It feels very, like, rigid, and, like, you get a job and, like, you're treated like you don't know how to do things, even if you're really qualified. And part of that, I think, is because then they could pay you less. But I decided about a month ago that I didn't want to settle, and that I was going to make a chance. And I think that's a thing that isn't covered in the book, is that we can make our own chances, because every time we choose to pursue something that we care about and that we love, any dream, that is a chance. And you don't know what's going to happen with the chance. Maybe you succeed and it's wonderful and it's great, or maybe it doesn't work out the way that you hoped and you do something different. But as long as you're trying, you at least have a chance. If you don't try, then odds are, it's rare in my experience that, like, the things that we want most just come knocking on our door and, like, here you go, here's this thing. A lot of times it's a choice that we need to make, and to pursue something. And so for me, I am trying to, since I can't go out in the physical world too much with my injury, I'm just trying to be out here. Twitch is really intimidating for me. Really intimidating. I see all these, like, people who look super professional when they come up in my feed, and, like, I get so nervous with people. But I'm here. I read a story that I liked, and I'm choosing to do things I love. I'm doing a lot of really awesome stuff, and I don't know if you're doing anything awesome, but even if it's not out and open like this, like, even just doing something on your own time, like something that maybe you haven't done in years, or you don't feel like there's space in your life for, like, maybe you used to like to draw, maybe you, I don't know, like a particular animal and, like, would like to just go find a petting zoo. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be anything, literally. As maybe it's just, like, sitting down and reading a book, or looking out your window on a rainy day and taking some time to just, like, let your mind unwind. Whatever it is, like, that space for yourself is so important. One of my first steps to get to where I'm at today, and being able to be like, I'm not going back to my job. I literally officially quit my job last week. Even though I haven't been able to work for a while, I was still, like, I had the job in place for when I was better. And it's not a terrible job. It's not what I want. And it's, so I'm making different choices now. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know what's gonna happen. But that's my kind of journey. And, like, you don't have to know all the steps. You just have to make the first step. And one of the first steps for me was, a few years back, I started taking mental health days for myself. Like, instead of, like, regular sick days, there were, like, some days where, like, I just was like, I don't want to go into work. Like, I just need a day. Like, I need a day for myself. And it was really amazing. It was right before COVID, and everything shut down, and I would go on these days periodically, and I would go out in the community, and I would listen to inspiring people, and, like, go look at art and read books and sip tea places. And there's where I live in Portland, there's a really nice chai garden not too far from me, that I love. There's a lot of really nice nature places in the city. I'm very lucky that we have a lot of parks and whatnot in like the metro area. But that was very restorative for me. And then I got a grown-up job, and I thought, this is going to be the start of my grown-up career. And it wasn't. It was just more of the same old. And the people who were my bosses, they're miserable. Like, they are so miserable. And if you love your job, I'm so happy for you. But I know a lot of people who are not happy with what they're doing. And sometimes we have to, like, do the work that we have available to us. But we can still, like, try to find little spots in our life to, like, choose ourselves, I think. And I just realized with COVID, I didn't want to be, like, the bosses I had. Like, I didn't want to go on that ladder that they were on, or, like, they made a bit more than me, but were just, like, so miserable. And their mindset, like, in this mental health field that I was, like, company I was working for, and I can't say it's all the people who are in charge, but their mindset was that you have to be like a warrior and nothing can ever get to you, and if you don't stick around, then you're just not tough enough. And I was like, I don't want to live my life like that. I don't want my whole life to just be work. I want to have friends and family and be creative and do things. And I don't want to be micromanaged all the time. I want people to know that I have the skills to do what I need to do competently, and to kind of just let me do that. And I want the ability to connect with people in a way that feels authentic and right to me. Like, in some ways, I had more freedom when I worked in retail at a bookstore to have genuine moments with the people I was selling stuff to. It wasn't all the time, but there were a few times where, like, I had these profound, deep, interpersonal moments with people that had nothing to do with the job, and that meant a lot to me. And I felt like I could do that more there sometimes than I could in the position I was working at in mental health, where a lot of times I was just a note keeper. Like, I would just take notes and document things, and that's necessary. And my clients appreciated me because I was a nice person, but, like, I'm more than just a nice person. And so, I don't know, that's kind of where I'm at, trying to explore things. And I will say this, choosing to do this, go for, like, the unknown for me, but, like, saying I am going to find things that I care about, and if I can't, then I'm going to find things that I at least somewhat enjoy, and only do that as little as possible, and work on the things I do care about, kind of on the extreme end of trying new things. I feel like for the first time in my life, my future is open. It's open. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's no longer the past. It's the future. And that's super exciting for me, and it's scary. And a lot of the online stuff I'm doing, I realize I need to learn a lot. I'm doing some collaborations with people where they're more experienced than me, and trying to, like, be at their level is really difficult, and that's a really real thing, and I have real feelings about that. But it's still a choice, and it's still a chance, and every day that I choose to try is a day I'm choosing to take that chance. And it's better, for me at least. I don't know about everyone else, but I don't know. I'll let you guys know in a year. Like, if you come back in a year, I will tell you how things are going. I'll also be updating people along the way on my journeys, but right now I feel hopeful. And as somebody who's had a really hard life, who for most of my life I have not had hope, so, like, all of a sudden have hope is, like, huge. It's worth all the risk to me. And I think that's also kind of what the book gets to as well. It's like when you don't see opportunities and chances anymore, or they seem very far off and unattainable, when you do have that opportunity, it means more. It carries more weight. And if there's anything that you want to ask or say, I'm here to listen. But I'm gonna try to do a lot of these like short segments like more frequently. I'm trying to figure out my schedule so I could post it for people who are interested. But you could always rewatch this story and all the other stories I do. Clovergeeks. This Dear Tamala is for supporting. It's where I'm doing all my I have a whole bunch of projects that I'm putting out there that's like including documentaries about inspiring people, and like it's all about encouraging and inspiring and supporting. But Clovergeeks is all about weird, fun, quirky stuff. So you can check out both if ever interested. And I would just also like to encourage you, like, honestly, be your authentic self. That's the other thing, is I've masked a lot in my life. I don't always do this, and it's exhausting to pretend to be a certain way for people. I know it can be scary, but just if you're not already doing it, be yourself as much as you can be. Find safe places at least to be more yourself and vulnerable. And my experience with my injury lately has made me realize that the people in my life want to be there for me more than I realized. I was letting them to be there for me, and that's been really touching. And I'm also realizing that the world isn't as scary as, it's scary, but not everyone is terrible. Not everyone's gonna be a bully or be awful. Some people might, but there's a lot of really nice, genuine people. And most importantly, you are worthy, because we're all worthy. We're all worthy, and you don't have to earn that. And there is nothing that you could do in this life that takes away that. And some people might have opinions about you or whatever, but you are worthy. And love is all around us, and sometimes it's hard to see that if we're really having a hard time. And I hope everything in your life is wonderful, but if you're having any struggles, there is love around you, and it might be in unexpected places. But if you need support, reach out for support. You could even reach out to me. I care. I care, and I don't know you, but I care because I know what it's like to be a human. I really get it. How hard life can be. And I just want to say that it does get better. If you are ever having a hard time, at least trying that, because it does get better. I know I'm crying, so it might not seem like it, but it's just very emotional for me as somebody who's struggled with mental health and things. And I know a lot of people in my life are going through such a hard time. And I kind of am saying to you what I wish they would accept for themselves. And I'm also saying it because I want you to accept it too. And I think sometimes, even from strangers, we just need to hear that we deserve love, that we're worthy, and that things can get better, and that we deserve to pursue the things that we love. We deserve to have amazing, joyous lives. And I thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate you. Feel free, like I said, to watch any of my stuff. I'm Tamala Clover. I really hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night, wherever you're at. And thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you. Thank you. So that's the end. Good night, love.